What's up guys, here I have the new Pavo20 Pro from BetaFPV. BetaFPV has released a handful of O3 capable whoops over the past few years, and this is kind of their predecessor to the Pavo20. I was actually sent the Pavo20 a while ago and I never ended up filming a review on it, but I did feature it in a video or two. I won't get completely into this drone right now because I have customized it pretty heavily, but basically I wanted to build a night vision FPV drone ever since RunCam released their Night Eagle HD. The Night Eagle HD is a camera that is very good in low light, and you can use infrared lights to see at night. So I ended up repurposing the Pavo20 to be my night vision drone. We got the RunCam Night Eagle with an air unit on the back. Around the camera is a little infrared LED ring connected to a switch, so I can actually turn that on and off with a switch on my controller. And then the LEDs around the props are SpeedyB's Meteor Bluetooth LED strip. It's a pretty cool little drone. I will leave a link to the video that I've featured this drone in down below, but I do really like the original Pavo20 that I have here, so I'm excited to see how the new Pro version stacks up against it. So the Pavo20 Pro does have bigger props and bigger motors than the original. We've got Gemfan tri-blades with 1104 7200 kV lava motors on this drone. The props on this are 2.2 inches. I am excited that they put tri-blades on this. The original one came with bi-blades. Inside we have an F405 20 amp flight controller with ELRS built in. I have the Crossfire version, so I am using that receiver instead of the ELRS that's baked into the flight controller. We've got a bottom mounted battery, same exact setup as the Pavo20. They sent me this 550 3S LiPo, so this is the primary battery that I'm going to be using in my testing, but this would mount right down the bottom. In the back we have an XT30 connector, and then right at the base of that is actually our USB, so you don't have a standard USB plug on this. You're going to have to use their little dongle thing that plugs in the back here, so don't lose this, otherwise you are not going to be able to connect the drone to Betaflight. So that plugs in right there. There's another plug in here, and that is actually for the LEDs. So they include a little LED strip. I feel like with all of these drones, BetaFPV includes an LED strip like this. They have a bunch of different colors. They included this one. I'm not sure what color it is, but yeah, that goes around the prop guards if you want it. And there's a plug there so you can easily plug that in. The frame is extremely similar to the original Pavo20, but I do notice that the plastic piece that holds the O3 air unit is actually a little bit thicker. I'll hold it side by side on these two and you can kind of see a difference. Mainly in this front area, it does look like it's a little bit better made. So I feel like this one might actually be a little bit more durable. I have modified this one, like I said, so you can't really see it. This thing's just glued on there with some hot glue, but this camera bracket, the way that that's mounted to this cage, seems just a little bit more beefy on the Pro version. Speaking of the video transmitter mounting, they do include a little bracket that looks like this. So if you want to mount something like a Caddx Vista like this, you can use that little bracket and you'll be able to mount pretty much any 20 by 20 video transmitter in here. Otherwise, if you're using an O3 air unit, you don't need that. This cage is just meant for the O3 air unit. So like I said, they sent me their 550 Lava 3S LiPo, so this is the primary battery that I'm gonna be using on my tests. Weight-wise, with a full-size air unit, you are looking at 109 grams without a battery, and then when you add the 550, you're looking at 153 grams. So I might do a little freestyle with this drone, but I'm mainly curious how this is going to perform on a drone tour. So we've got a project coming up this week that I'm planning on using this drone on, so let's jump to some of that flight footage to see how this thing flies. bad. Off the bat, first thing I noticed is that I did see prop guards in view when flying with the O3. I always have the camera in 4x3 so I can stabilize in gyro flow after the fact. So I actually moved the camera a little bit forward to this bracket right here. I don't think you're supposed to mount the O3 to it, but I did just so that I could have a 0-degree camera tilt, or at least a minimal camera tilt and not have the props in view. If you don't use that, you're probably gonna have the props in view unless you're flying like that. And if you're flying like that, you're probably gonna be going a little bit faster. So because of this, it doesn't really make this the best drone for real estate or slower cinematic flights. I wasn't quite seeing the flight times that they're advertising, but I did get about 4 to 5 minutes or so on that 3S battery, which in my opinion really isn't that bad. So the Pavo20 Pro is a nice little drone for faster flying, maybe even some light cinematic freestyle. For me personally, this isn't a drone that I would keep in my backpack as a backup real estate FPV drone. This kind of brings me to BetaFPV's Pavo25 V2. This was sent to me a couple months ago, but I haven't had a video come out on it just because I have been crazy busy lately. I wanted to feature it in this video briefly for anyone looking for a real estate worthy Cineweb. Similar to the Pavo20 Pro, this one does have the O3 on board, but it doesn't have props in view. This camera can have a 0-degree camera tilt and you're not gonna have any props in view or anything. So you can get some nice slower flights with this one. This drone accepts 4S, and the best part is that it can hold a naked GoPro up top. So you have this entire dampened mount right here, so you can throw a naked GoPro up here or an action camera or something. Whereas on the Pavo20 Pro, you can't mount an additional camera up top here. You're kind of restricted to the O3 or whatever camera you have on board. I used this one on a project that we filmed for a campground up in the White Mountains, and I've been keeping it in my backpack as a backup Cineweb to my main 2.5-inch QAV build. This thing flies awesome and is much more suited for real estate FPV than the Pavo20 Pro. But all in all, the Pavo20 Pro is a solid little freestyle Cineweb. I wouldn't use it for real estate FPV, like I said, whereas the Pavo25 V2 is much more suited for slower indoor real estate FPV shoots since you can have the O3 air unit and a naked GoPro on board. But the Pavo25 isn't nearly as good at freestyle as this one. So that's gonna do it for this video. Since in this review, I guess I kinda also went over the Pavo25 V2. I'll leave links to both of these drones down in the description. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more FPV content. Leave the video a like, and if you have any questions about the Pavo20 Pro or the Pavo25 V2, leave a comment down below.